Does your wife tell you that you don't listen? Does she get upset with you when she asks you to do things and then you don't do them? Hi, I'm Charlie McKeever, your Happy Man coach. And just last week I was talking with a man who said, my wife tells me that I'm not present, that I don't listen to her, that she can't trust me, and that bothers me. A lot of times it does bother a man because we do feel trustable. We feel trustable within ourselves. We feel like we know who we are, we know our intentions, that we know that we're good men. And when she says something like that, it feels very critical. It feels very personal. Like she's not just talking to us or at us, but she's talking about us. And a lot of times she is talking about us, but what she's more importantly talking about is she's talking about how she feels. She's talking about her security and safety, how it feels jeopardized. She's telling us how she feels disconnected from us, how she feels alone in a relationship. Now, can you imagine that? I'm sure you can. A lot of the guys that I talk to feel alone in a relationship, and it sucks. It feels worse to be alone in a relationship than it does to be alone by yourself. Because at least alone by yourself, you know what's going on. But when you're alone in a relationship, it feels weird. It feels very disjointed. And this is what she's feeling right now, and she's trying to tell him without coming across as criticizing him. She's trying to tell him that she doesn't feel okay, that she doesn't feel safe, that she doesn't feel connected, that how he's showing up is leaving her feeling alone. Now, as we started to explore this together, he said, I don't know, maybe I just have ADHD, maybe I'm just distracted, maybe that it's, I'm working so much and I've got all of these things going on and I've got all this stuff on my mind and I've got different priorities and things like that. And some of that can be true. Some of it can be really, really true. And we can also get into this pattern of trying to do more than we need to do, trying to take on more than we need to take on. We can have this belief that we're not doing enough, that we're not enough, that somehow if we don't say yes to everything, that we don't please everyone, our boss, our coworkers, our wife, our kids, our friends, our family, if we don't please everyone, then we won't be okay. And when we live like that, when we believe that and we react to those thoughts, what happens is it leaves us in this scattered place where we say yes to everything. We overbook ourselves, right? We overperform. We try to overachieve. We wind up in this place where we're constantly training our brain to think about people and circumstances that haven't happened yet, that we're thinking about tomorrow's meeting. We're thinking about next week's trip. We're thinking about trying to think about 10 different things at once. And the problem is that we're not very good at it. In fact, there have been studies that show that we don't really multitask, that really we're just slicing out sections of time and giving a little bit of time to each thing, but ultimately something gets dropped, something gets missed. And a lot of times when we're allowing our brain just to rule us, right, to just run rampant, what happens is we drop packets, almost like on a computer network. We have pieces of information that get dropped. And she feels unimportant. She feels alone. She feels dismissed. She feels unappreciated when that happens. And we don't mean for that to happen. That's not our intention, but it's the result of us being distracted. And so we have to learn to slow down. We have to learn to change our thoughts, change our thinking about what's going on, to recognize that we can do one thing at a time, that we can say no to things that we don't have time for, that we can be very clear about what it is that we can agree to and what we won't agree to, that we can get very clear about what's important to us and our values, that we can say no without disappointing with someone, without there being negative consequences, that we can say no and we'll still be okay, that we can manage our time better, that we can value our time better, that we can prioritize the parts of our life that are important to us. And that if being there when we say we'll be there for our wife is important to us, then we honor our word. But if we're not going to be able to be there, then we let her know that we can't agree to that, that I can do this, but I can't do that. And at least at that point, even though she may not like the answer, she may be disappointed a little bit, there at least is some clarity there. There's some trust there, that she can depend on you, that if you say no, then you mean no. I heard it said a long time ago, let your yes be yes and your no be no. But the problem is a lot of times we don't think that we can say no. We don't know that we can set up healthy boundaries. We don't know that we can value our time and value ourselves enough to say, I can't do that, right? And so this is an important part of the conversation, the kind of conversations that I have with men. I have conversations with men where they get to know themselves. They get to know their thoughts, their feelings. They get to know what's important to them. They get to know what their desires are, what they value, what they want for themselves, what they're willing to agree to and not agree to, what they want more of, what they want less of. Because when we know that, when we have that clarity, our choices, our decisions are so much easier. We feel less conflicted, less afraid, less anxious, less scared, less uncomfortable in our own skin. That we really know that we're okay and that we can make choices for ourselves and own ourselves and our life, and that other people respect that. They trust that. That's actually what they want us to do. They don't want us to be yes men. They don't want us to tell them what they want to hear. They want us to know who we are and to lead ourselves, and indirectly to lead them, to help them have a life that's less complicated, that's less uncertain. That when we trust ourselves, when we say what it is that we want, when we're clear and when we stand for something, when we have healthy boundaries, that we're trustable, that she can depend on us, and that creates intimacy, it creates connection, it creates closeness, that it brings her closer, it doesn't push her further away. She doesn't feel alone in the relationship. She feels like she has a partner. Feels like she has somebody she can depend on. And you know that you enjoy who you're being. You like who you're being. You're not saying yes to things that you don't really want to say yes to. And eroding your self-trust, your self-respect, and your self-confidence. That you're actually strengthening your self-respect, your self-trust, and your self-confidence by being able to say no. So if that's something that you want help with, if that's something that resonates with you, if you find yourself in this place where you are having a hard time saying no, where you say yes to everything, but then things fall through the cracks and she's telling you that she feels alone, that she can't depend on you, that she can't trust you, that she feels disconnected from you, if it seems like she's pulling away or backing away, if it seems like she's upset all the time, then we need to talk. Go to happymancoaching.com, fill out my free coaching call request form. Let's schedule a call. Let's talk with each other. We'll talk on the phone. You'll tell me about your situation. You'll tell me about what's going on with you. I'm going to ask you some questions about what it is that you want for yourself. I'm going to ask you some questions about your beliefs, what you say to me. I'm going to challenge some of the things that you say, not in a way that tells you how to live, but in a way that helps you come up with your own answers. And when we get done with that call, you're going to feel stronger, clearer, more confident. You're going to feel like you know where you are and where you're going, and you're going to feel like you know better about how to get what you want out of your life and your relationship. That you're going to be trustable to yourself and to her. So, happymancoaching.com, fill that out. While you're there, you can also download my Divorce Bomb Recovery book. That will help you understand how to navigate it, a relationship when she's at a place where maybe she says, I want a separation or a divorce. Or maybe you're in that place where things feel pretty contentious and you're afraid that there's going to be a divorce. You can also take one of my courses. I've got courses on No More Mr. Nice Guy, The Divorce Bomb, Menopause, Sexless Marriage, Unhappy Wife. There's plenty of resources there for you to get the answers that you need. You can also join one of my weekly men's group calls where you can talk with other guys and share what's going on with you so that you can get these answers for yourself. You can also do one-on-one coaching with me or group coaching where we talk about what it means to perform and please and pretend and not be who we really are, and to say yes too much to things that we shouldn't be saying yes to be able to say no to things and be able to trust ourselves again. These are the types of resources that I have available for you on the website, happymancoaching.com. Book that call. Let's talk. I guarantee you're going to feel better, and it's going to change the whole trajectory of your marriage and your life. That's what I have for you today, brother. I'll talk to you soon.